you. Thank you, Dr. KP, for making me a part of this very interesting IC. And it is very close to my heart because I believe we are not trained as doctors into communication, and that is where we lack. So, tracing the roots of bad communication, what is the genesis of this topic was that poor communication, which means the improper transference of ideas, is very important in the current climate of medicine, where there's a disconnect between heart, hand, and head, especially for surgeons, leading to erosion of doctor-patient trust and increased conflict situations. Optimal communication with empathy is a solution. Now, what is empathy? Empathy is not sympathy. Empathy is cognitive understanding of patients' emotions and concerns related to sickness. As Dr. KP was talking about endophthalmitis. In a panic or in a sympathy, we make mistakes. But if we understand what the issue is and how to handle it in an optimal manner, communicating the same to the patient, and that will be the solution always for any conflict situations. And since it's a cognitive element, it can be taught to our students who may or may not have sympathetic element. We are all familiar, at least my generation is familiar. Communication is important. Okay, if the person doesn't understand whatever I am speaking, if I'm not able to make the people who are listening to me understand, I haven't communicated. Same way, if the doctor is talking from a pedestal, the patient will never understand. So therefore, we have to learn the proper techniques of communication, and for that, we have to understand the roots of miscommunication. The first root I could identify is ignorance or arrogance, which is unwillingness to learn, unaware, and fear of displaying ignorance. Most doctors do overestimate their abilities to communicate. We need to have a look at ourselves and see how well we communicate, how we represent or present ourselves to our patients. Second root was currently this climate is focused on technological skills, devaluation of the effective domain. This is my actual anatomy class and how we learned anatomy in 1981 with my favorite teacher, Dr. Chandramanand. And this is the class nowadays with simulations. The human connect is not there. Since we don't have the human connect so much because of technology dependence, the human connect with the patient also goes away because our students are trained like that. This human interaction has to start from undergraduate time. Third is assessment. Assessment always drives learning. Communication skills are never assessed. Therefore, since they are not assessed, therefore they are never learned. Knowledge and skills are far easier to assess than attitudes or communication skill, and that is where we lack. Third is the time and logistics. Number game. So many surgeries, so many cases. We are always running. Patient load is there. We really can't afford to have the time to communicate, which is a very big mistake we make. Because more we communicate, more it becomes part of our personality. Then you don't need time for that. It is a reflexive behavior. Next thing is that, again, whenever we are operating or whenever we are seeing patients, we fail to put the patient into perspective. Like I am a glaucoma person. This intraocular pressure, this visual field, this gonioscopy finding, this is your diagnosis, this you have to do. Do we make time to take time to understand? Okay, where do you stay? Can you afford to put these drugs? Can you afford to come back after trabeculectomy? Can you put these drugs? Do you have a person with you who will put these eye drops for you 3 times a day? That is patient-centric. And that is what makes all the difference and make the patient feeling that he is part of the patient-doctor relationship. Whenever you see me, you have to have you inside it. So me and you have to be combined. That means patient and doctor have to have a combination. It has to be a patient-centric relationship. Modern communication with WhatsApp, with Instagram, with even Zoom is instant. Superficial, sudden, unsifted, too fast for truth, trivial and paltry. This was said about New York Times, about Telegraph when it came in 1858. Think what it will be now with email and with WhatsApp. Next, Genesis, which I find very problematic with patients and with my students both, is this habit of fubbing. Okay, and this fubbing habit is creating havoc. Whenever the patient is there, we as doctors or residents, we are listening to our phone, we are seeing WhatsApp and also seeing patients. Patient has to be felt that he or she is being taken care of. You have seen him properly, only then you give diagnosis. Otherwise, he feels sidelined. So phone fubbing practice has to be removed. And this fubbing has become so much important that Oxford Dictionary has made a new term. It's a new word. It's a practice of ignoring one's companion or companions in order to pay attention to one's phone or other mobile devices. Then the other aspect is the non-verbal communication. Verbal communication, as Amitabh Bachchan is telling that you don't want to understand, but see his demeanor. He's frustrated. And see the demeanor of Dharmender when he's saying, okay, I don't understand why you can't understand. So these non-verbal clues which you see on the face of these two protagonists will tell you a lot about what is happening. So this focus on non-verbal communication, having in mind, it's so important that even WhatsApp Communication College has given emoticons keeping this in mind. And whenever we communicate with the patient, our voice, our body language conveys much more than only 7% which is taken care by the words. So non-verbal communication always has a bigger role, which is body posture, facial expression, eye contact, touch, attire, how you dress, your silence sometimes, and the tone of your voice. Doctor at one time was a second god on earth. I remember the times when my grandfather was a doctor and what respect he had. Deteriorating doctor-patient relationship with the patient's access to information, need and demand to know makes the doctor vulnerable. Paradoxically, doctors reassert themselves to it because it is insecure arrogance. So we have to come in sync with reality. This equation no longer holds true, and that is why there's so much violence against doctors. We have to introspect. We have to look into ourselves, into our behavior. We are the role models for our student generation. If we are not good role models, we can never have the ABCD paradigm of ATCOM or the attitude or the communication aspects. Next, even though maybe be good role models, we may be thinking we are good role models. We are talking about in this IC about that. However, it has been identified that you have to walk the talk. The gap between walking and our talking, what we talk at the auditorium or in the conference and what we do in our hospitals. The student will see what we are doing and not what we are talking. And they will emulate that walk, not our talk. So if we walk our talk, only then we will be appropriate role models. Last, for any communication, the roots of problem in conflict, not for poor communication, for conflict is that we don't take the proper informed consent. For guarding against malpractice litigation, informed consent and the manner of consent taking is also important. So much so, communication has been given a whole new chapter or the ATCOM module in Indian medical graduate for MBBS curriculum, so that communication is taught and assessed properly starting from the undergraduate. This CBA ATCOM module has been implemented in MBBS and in competency-based medical education from next year in ophthalmological camp. It has already started in 2018. So communication is extremely important during patient-doctor relationship, and unless we try to find the roots of bad communication, this leaning tree of doctor-patient communication causing so much conflict, causing so much of erosion of trust will surely topple down. Thank you for a very patient listening.